Welcome to the Stretch to Go podcast. My name is Ian Ray, your host. Today I have Voden Wern, based out of Durban, South Africa. He is the co-founder of Bashers Footwear. Voden, welcome to the Stretch to Go podcast.
How's it, Ian? Thanks so much. And to all your viewers and people joining, really appreciate your time and look forward to this.
Yes, thank you for hopping on. So Voden, love to hear your aspect of how you got into barefoot shoes. But first of all, how did you get into footwear? What's your story? What's your background in all of this?
Yeah, very basic background. Bit of a salesman, got invited to come work for somebody on leather development for the footwear factories in South Africa. Slowly worked my way up to doing a really good job. Got poached by another company, which was machinery, selling machinery to the footwear factories, and then got another job, poached again to come run a company in the Cape, in Cape Town, liquidated, and I joined the factory I'm with now, and Hopeful Footwear. And just being through the whole lot, developing leathers, soles, insole boards, threads, selling the machinery, understanding how the footwear works. And just gave me a very good grounding, and also saw the shortcuts that people are taking, like where a lot of people want a shoe at $150, but they want to pay you $20, take this out, take that out. When we built Bashers, we decided, hey, we're going to put everything into it. Being a manufacturer, we're not marketing people. So we're literally going to just put the best products we can in, give it the best, and tell people, like, look, this is what we're doing. So that's where the basics came from, starting in the industry, seeing what was happening, developing shoes, and they never got to market because people didn't want to pay the price, whether it was for the leather or the components. Yeah, and that's basically how we grew and how I grew, and decided we were going to take on Bashers and show it to the world.
So what year was it when you started dabbling into minimalist barefoot shoes?
Sure, that's a good question and a sad one. We literally started about 2.5 years ago, and it came down to, like, I've had 3 hip replacements and back surgery, so I just don't walk properly. Body's not what it used to be. Getting older, as you can see, not as young as you guys. And, just looking at the different things, and barefoot was always there, but I'm not very much a synthetic person. I never have been, being in the footwear industry. So we just decided about it, had a look at it, did some samples, and we were actually going to go with one of our clients who was in America already, and then something's happened with them. So we've been delayed 1.5 years from getting into America, at least. But yeah, I think everything happens for a reason. If we'd gone 1.5 years earlier, I don't think we would be talking. It's handled by different people. You never know. Yeah, I think everything works out for a reason, and glad it did. So yeah.
And then, of course, the name of the brand, Bashers Footwear. What's the origin story behind that?
Again, Bashers came from literally being in South Africa, being in the bush, running around, bashing through life, bashing through the bush. Seemed like a nice name. We're just bashing through life, it's a bashful experience. I want people to enjoy our shoes, out in nature, get the benefit of living a really wholesome life. So yeah, if you look at our logo, you'll see it's kind of like 2 mountains, but then it's also got like little dots on the side. And if you look carefully, it can kind of be like people holding hands over the mountains, like together. So it's just, really nice. The logo came together very holistically, believe it or not. And all worked
That's
out.
awesome. I love that. I think that logos and brands have to make sense to each, footwear or any company. So love that it makes a perfect logo for your brand. So for sure. As far as like barefoot shoes, is that more of a common thing out where you're at in South Africa, or is that more of a niche thing?
Definitely a niche thing. In South Africa, it's very, very small at the moment. We've got 1 or 2 big brands, your Vivos and your Vibrams, obviously brought in by agents, but it's a much smaller niche product market. So our thought process was to go to America, go to the rest of the world. They understand it a lot more. They've been around it a lot more. The cost as well is a lot higher than a basic pair of shoes. And obviously in South Africa, there's a lot of poverty and a lot of issues that we go through. So it's more niche, definitely more niche product. You got to explain it a lot more. I think you've probably been in that space, so you know a lot more than us. But it's people until they've actually worn the shoe, they don't actually understand the benefits of it and what they're getting out of it. But then to tell a guy, hey, pay $300 for a shoe to test it out, when he can go buy another shoe for, I don't know, $60, $70, it's quite a hard sell. But definitely a niche product. Something that's growing, but I don't think it's going to take off. It's not going to be a rocket. It's a specialized product, definitely.
Yeah, because I'm assuming people who do wear barefoot shoes, it's like a very small percentage of them, and if they do, they probably came across it either through friends here in the States or Europe somewhere where it's probably more accessible to have that, right?
Correct, yeah. And you find a lot of these extreme athletes, if you want to call them that, or weekend warriors that are really good at running and all that kind of stuff, they'll buy it. But then a lot of them go to your Vivos and your Vibrams and all that kind of stuff, where they've got the marketing and they've been around for years. So they'll run in that. Whereas we kind of more wanting to go for your average Joe, family man, family lady, wife, kids, get out in the bush, enjoy life, walk on the streets. Kind of like a crossover, where it's not specialized into sport, but more daily living. And then you can go out into the bush on the weekend and enjoy life. That being said, there's a lot of other products coming, but I don't think we'll ever transverse into the athletic side, being a leather shoe. We'll stick to lifestyle.
Got it. Talk about leather. So we know that that's what your specialty is, and that's what you guys make is leather barefoot shoes, none of the synthetic materials that you see. To kind of talk to us, I myself, so I've been barefoot shoes probably for 2 years. I know leather, you have to kind of take care of it pretty well. I mean, they are durable, correct, as far as long lasting. Just take care of it.
Correct, yeah.
Help me to understand. So yeah, as far as like for your shoes for Bashers, where do you source it? Where do you find materials locally, or is it somewhere like nearby that you can create these shoes?
Yeah, and that's a great question. Thanks for asking it, because we're actually quite proud. I would say 97 to 98% of our shoe is actually made locally. Literally this current shoe, the only material that's not local is your stitch, which we have to import. This thread, the lining, the leather, the elastics, the rubber sole, the veg insole is all local. So we've got two big tanneries in South Africa. They're in Cape Town, so about 1,000 miles away from us. See, I went American there, not kilometers. And we develop all our leather there. I'll go there and develop. We'll see what we want, what type of colors we're looking for, what article we're looking for. This is your oily nubuck. Then we've got a waxy leather, and then we've got the really heavy pull-up leather that we're using currently on our badger boot. It depends what we want, and then I'll go there and develop it with the tanneries, the substance, the thickness, the color. Do we want to pull up? Do we want a natural? Do we want a nubuck? Must it be oily? Obviously, a nubuck gets dirty quite quickly. Oily nubuck doesn't. It's got the oils in it, so it lasts longer, easier to clean. So yeah, we run majority of our product is locally based, which is great. And whatever we can't get local, we obviously import. But like I say, I reckon 98% at least of our cost of our shoe is local, which is huge. So that's from laces, threads, leather, linings, our socks that we do, it's all made locally. So yeah, it's supporting the local economy as well, which is great, because that's something we kind of like quite proud of, because obviously you need jobs. South Africa's poverty rate's very high, as I'm sure you know, and just trying to keep jobs and grow jobs, which is a big thing for us, leaving. I'm going to just go a little bit on the sustainability thing, where people always talk about sustainability of the world. But I think also sometimes you have to look at sustainability of your factories and your people that you employ. You've got to look at the whole thing, not just as greenwashing about the earth, which is a major issue, but sustainability is a much bigger thing. And for us, part of it is our factory and keeping it growing for another 50 years, kids coming in and other people's kids working. So, yeah. Sorry, I went off topic a bit, but it's quite an important part for us.
Why is it so important for you? I mean, because you've been, I know previously you mentioned you've been in doing footwear for 23 years, so you've seen probably the, advances of technology, and maybe creating footwear. But as far as even like even more like let's say more technology, higher technology now. But how important is it for you and your brand for Bashers to have that sustainability to continue on moving forward?
Well, I mean, it's massively important because at the end of the day, like, we're making Bashers and we want you to buy our shoes. So if you just got machines and AI and all of this kind of stuff that's taking over people's jobs, people don't have money. There's a big thing in South Africa, which kind of like, I don't know, it's a bit of a sore point, but, retail buys imports a lot, say 200 million pairs of shoes, and we make maybe 50, 60 million pairs locally. My whole thing is, if you support, like, you can't support them on everything. Okay. Let's get that right. You can't do everything. But if you support them, the workers and the people at the factories that make for your retailers, then have money to spend money at the retailer. If they don't, and we don't have jobs, where those retailers and where the other brands, shoe brands, clothing brands, where are they going to get their client from? Their client base is going to shrink because at the end of the day, if say we got 120 workers right now, if we shrink to 40 workers, that takes 80 people out of the job, of spending money somewhere, whether it's at a cafe, whether it's at a local bakery or bread shop or a big retailer. Now, how do you replace those 80 people? You can't just go, oh, well, AI's there or the machine's doing that job now. So you don't pay a machine. The machine doesn't spend money. We need to spend money to keep the world turning. It's a very small and basic outlook, but that's what I look at, and again, like I like to leave a legacy, when you've gone, because we're all going, believe it or not. Some people might think they're going to live forever. They're not. It's what you leave behind, it's not what you have now. So if we can leave the factory for another 50 years, another 100 years, that makes me feel good. Yeah, it's what we work for. It's what I work for.
But for you, I'm sure you probably have seen some workers, employees who have maybe generations, maybe their fathers or mothers, or maybe their kids have worked in the factory because you're providing that, sustainable income. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah. I mean, some of the people that work with us have been us for 30, 40 years. And that shows, one, the relationship between the factory and the staff, that it's not just, you're not just churning out numbers. Your staff will leave if they're not happy. And your management will turn over numbers if they're not happy with staff. So it shows a good balance. Everybody has problems in work, and you have the odd bad apple. We all have that. But as a whole, we're really solid. It's a family unit. We're not a corporate company, and that's a nice thing. If we want to change direction tomorrow and all of a sudden make a Barefoot rock climbing boot, we just got to put the money down and get the sole, and we can make it. We don't have to wait for some corporate person to say, no, let's stick with normal shoes. You can't go into the barefoot space because, we make that decision. We make it quickly and we can turn it around, which I think is a big benefit to us, having the brand and being able to do that compared to a lot of other brands out there. And also we can do smaller runs. If we want to do 100 pairs or 200 pairs, we'll do it. We don't have to worry about 1,000 pairs from China or 2,000 pairs to make sure the shipping's right and all that kind of stuff. So it gives us a big advantage, which talks into the sustainability as well. You've got to be able to move for your clients.
Yeah, no, that's true. Many brands I've talked to, obviously, they don't have that capacity to have a factory, a manufacturer like yourself. So that is a huge advantage. I know other brands who maybe have lived close to a factory or manufacturer, but the capacity to, one, have your own last, and to actually have concept and to actually have real shoes in your hand. I think that's wonderful for sure. So talking about your shoes now, let's get into where you where you got your ideas for, let's say, the ones that I have right here. So I have the camper, and then the slip on, and then I have the chocolate traveler. Where do you get your idea? Where do you get are you the one that's creating the designs? Also, how long have you been like testing these out before you actually put it out into the marketplace?
Sure. Yeah, from a design point of view, I don't do the designs myself, but I'm very involved with the designs. My partner does the designs. He's actually trained in the UK and in Italy, Arcitoria, and also old like me, so lots of experience. And yeah, the camper came along. We've done a couple of iterations for some of other clients with normal shoes, with heels or slippers with wool and all that kind of stuff. But we always wanted something that you could kind of like wear out during the day and wear it at night, and then kind of like go through to the kitchen, just slip it on. You don't have to clamp it on the back of your heel. It took 5 or 6 designs to get that right. You've got to get the right amount of stretch from the elastic, the leather pieces at the back, this piece here. Make sure it's not too stiff that it can't bend down when you put your foot in. So it came out, it took a while, 5 or 6 tries. We got it right. And then, I'd say we probably run it at about 2-3 months with different people, giving it to friends and family, and just tell them to give us feedback, whether it's good or bad. We don't really care. We want all the feedback, because if it's good, that's great. If it's bad, it allows us to fix what their problem was or what they felt was a problem for them. Obviously, taking everybody into consideration. The Traveler, that's what our factory is known for, making boots. So, just getting onto a Barefoot boot was pretty easy from a design point and a pattern point. Obviously, once we got the last right, because the last is the most important. Doesn't matter what anybody tells you. If your last is wrong, the rest of the fit can look great. It can feel amazing, but you put your foot in there and it's just like, I don't want to wear this. So last is very important. So we took our time on the last. Last took about 6 months to develop and went back and forward. Also needed to make sure we had enough space in the bottom for our sock. A lot of people I find in the Barefoot space as well, because they're health conscious, will take your sock out straight away, and they've got their own sock that they'll put in that they've been wearing for years. So we also try to just make sure that we had enough space, but not too much where it was just roomy and too bulky to fit in. And then, the design just, it comes along. You do a shoe and then you change a pattern, or you put another stitch there, change the color. But I'd say from start to finish, majority of them probably take about 2 months from a pattern perspective. The last took about 4 or 5 months to get right. And then, then we go. We've got a lot of designs we've done over the years. I mean, we've been going for 57 years. So it's relatively easy to take a pattern you've liked that you did 5 years ago, kind of put onto a Barefoot shoe, because at the end of the day, the last is the most important. Yeah.
And then, of course, where do you see, from your perspective, what makes Bashers Footwear so unique from others in the marketplace?
Oh, that's a loaded question. I think we're unique in we are manufacturer. One, we are manufacturer. Two, the stitch down construction. It's genuine South African stitch down, like really, really proper stitch down. So we've had, I'll drop the names, Clark's Footwear, their desert boots. That came from South Africa, came from the Afrikaners and the way in the Khoisan, so it's what we do. It's what we've always done. It's a really amazing construction. It's a little bit more roomier than your stuck-on construction, because it flanges out compared to being lasted under the last. So it's got that little bit extra bit of room. And just, being a manufacturer, like, we decided we're not going to scrimp on costs. Like, we obviously didn't want to be stupid, but we want to give people the best boot out there possible with the best components possible. And I've always believed that leather it's one of the most sustainable products out there from a fashion perspective. You can, you look after it, you cream it, you do all the stuff you need to do. It's going to last you forever, for ages. So then you just easily replace the sole. As a stuck-on construction, it's so easy to resole the shoe. So that shoe's going to last you for ages. Not good for us, because you're buying less, but then hopefully we make more styles and designs, and then the guys like that. But and leather lining as well. A lot of people forget how amazing leather is as a absorbent of sweat, and how it dissipates the sweat. So your feet can be quite sweaty, but it takes the sweat in, and then once your feet are out and stuff, it naturally lets it go, it dissipates. I don't wear socks with my shoes. None of my shoes I wear socks with, because of the polyester socks. So I actually sweat less in my shoes, and yeah, but, I don't have the stink, which is great. So yeah, but that's I think that's what makes us different, and we can change. You know, if clients feel they want a long boot, we can turn it on quickly. So we're going to be listening a lot to what our clients want, what our customers say, what you guys give us feedback on after wearing them and testing them, different styles, and we can move quickly, which I think is a big advantage, being able to anticipate what's coming and move with your clients and your products.
So I guess kind of leads me to the next question. Where do you hope to see, I guess, for goals wise, as a business, as a brand, for the next 5, 10 years? Because this is your first releases of all these models. You're getting to the US and elsewhere. But what's your goals for Bashers in the next 5, 10 years?
Just to be one of the top brands, one of the big brands in the footwear space, while keeping it honest. We're not wanting to do 50, 100,000 pairs a year and just churn out stuff. Again, it's part of our factory to, we have a lot of other clients and stuff we deal with and work with. We literally, just want to give good shoes to people, get it out there, be a good brand, be a recognized brand in the barefoot space. From an outdoors perspective, more than a fashion perspective, something that actually lasts and the quality is good, the product's good. And be a household brand in the States, which hopefully will then go over to the rest of the world. But we're kind of concentrating on the States. You guys are a lot more versed in the barefoot space as well and appreciate it a lot more than the other areas that we've spoken to. So there's a lot more opportunity to actually grow your brand and get a good following, which I think is what we want to be. We don't want world domination or anything. We just want to make good quality shoes and give it out to people and keep the factory going and grow it. And our biggest thing is to stay within South Africa as well, from a manufacturing point of view. So we won't go to China. We won't make our shoes cheaper. We won't ever take a chance on our components. It's just something we're not willing to risk or do.
Yeah, because you're trying to stay to your core values, I'm sure, and the mission of creating like the community within Durban or even South Africa. So that is the sustainability part. I'm assuming that you're trying to create through, like I said, once again, the legacy that you're trying to leave back. So that's awesome. As far as for you, in your perspective with footwear being an industry for decades now, where do you see the barefoot shoe industry evolving from now on?
I think it's going to evolve more, not from a technical point of view, but more from a marketing and health point of view. I think a lot of people, they don't understand the barefoot space. I think it was 2010 or 2011, there was a big jump in barefoot shoes, and then it kind of petered off, and, it's slowly growing year by year. I think one of the guys from Splay, I think it was, the commenters were saying it's growing and growing. Again, people need to wear them to understand the benefits of it. So until you actually wear it and realize the benefits from a fashion perspective, they're not the most fashionable shoes. You're not going to wear them to the red carpet or anywhere fancy, but they are just comfortable and they're good for you. So where do I see it going? I hope it just keeps going up because, like I say, I've had 3 hip replacements and back surgery since I've been wearing my barefoot shoes, and I wear them every day, the different styles. My back's improved, my posture's improved, my golf has improved, which is great. And again, everybody I've given the shoes to, whether they were family or friends or somebody just to try them out that is not in the barefoot space, has given rave reviews, and gone, wow, these things are comfortable. Wow, these are soft. Wow. Now, that could be our shoe, and I'd love to say it's our shoe, but it's not. It's the barefoot philosophy and, the way that it's supposed to work. So I think it's just going to go up. I don't think it's going to jump like this. I think it's just going to be gradually go and go. And I think COVID probably also helped. People might not think that, but I think it also helped because a lot of people stopped wearing shoes and were walking around barefoot in their house and having meetings on Zoom without shoes on. They'd all chuck on a quick nice shirt or whatever so that they could be seen, but they weren't wearing their shoes. So I think that slowly also helped. So take out the negative and look at a positive from COVID. And I just see it growing. I do. I really do. And I think if the brands stay true to the right wording, because a lot of people, and I've seen it in footwear, where they try and greenwash, buy my shoe because it's better because of this and this, when, you know, a podiatrist takes on some brand and says this is better because it's podiatrist approved or whatever. If we just stay true to the actual health benefits, the basic health benefits of a barefoot shoe, you know, and everybody's not trying to bash somebody else, or my brand's better because I use this, this, and this. I think it'll grow a lot faster, to be honest, because the basic health benefits far outweigh people getting scientific. I'm a shoe dog. I know how to make shoes. You know, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a podiatrist. I'm not qualified like you. But if we keep pushing that same basic narrative, and letting people understand how good it is for you, I think 100% it's going to grow quicker than we expect. That's
Talking
my
about being
personal
a shoe
opinion.
dog. Talking about being a shoe dog. And I appreciate you for sharing that. That's, I think, very valuable to hear from someone in your, you know, background and industry. How hard is it, man, to really change perspective of the mass majority of people wearing narrow toe box, raised heel? I mean, the typical shoe that people wear. How hard is it, man, to like change that mindset? Because that's what we have to do. I mean, like you're saying, to be in barefoot shoes, like myself 2 years ago, I had to feel the effects. I had to wear it to understand, to feel it, and then to know like this is actually helping me, rather than, you know, having this perception of, oh, barefoot shoes, minimalist shoes, it's not for me. I hear that. I hear that from clients. I hear that, oh, I need cushioning, or I think they look weird. It's the mindset. It's the marketing that has been propaganded from years from, you know, big shoe industry. How hard is it for most people to change their mindset about? But
So there you put me in a really tight spot, because we manufacture for a lot of good brands as well. From my perspective, and the barefoot space, like, again, I think it comes down to you. If you want a fashionable shoe, you're not going to buy a barefoot shoe. It doesn't make sense. Like, so I've got shoes, and, you know, if I'm going out to somewhere fancy or something, I might wear one of my clients' shoes just to look smart. Barefoot shoes are fugly. I think they're looking a lot better than when they first came out, but there's still some that are really, really wide and not fashionable in the fashion sense. But again, we're not wearing them for fashion, and I think that's what people got to get over. The thing is that it's not about fashion. It's about your health. It's about feeling better. You know, you spending 8 to 10 hours a day in shoes. What do you want your feet to feel like? You know, if you're out there watching your kids playing rugby, playing American football, whatever it is, you want to come back and not be going like, my feet hurt and all this kind of stuff. So it's trying to explain to them the benefits of it in a lifestyle perspective more than a technical perspective. And again, I say lifestyle health, but it's your basic stuff. It's not, again, this little toe is going to change by 1 centimeter because of this and this. You will feel better. Your back will feel better because your posture's straight. The simple stuff. I think at the end of the day, we are simple human beings, and there's so much rubbish that's around that you actually don't know what to believe. So it's sitting there and having those face-to-face conversations with people. I couldn't sell somebody a pair of shoes over the phone barefoot. I can tell you now I couldn't, because they wouldn't believe me. But having somebody in front of me and going, hey, have a look at this. Oh, and by the way, look at this. Huh? Here's a shoe that's like, so look how much better that's going to be for you when you're walking on stones. When you're walking, you'll be able to feel your feet, feel where the cracks are. You're not going to break your ankle because it's a bit stiff and then you roll your ankle. But you've got to have that person in front of you to talk to. Sometimes you just have to give people a pair of shoes. From a brand perspective, we've given away probably 10, 12 pairs so far, like, to people that actually don't believe it. So we're like, you don't believe it? Yeah, take a pair. I'm not paying for it. You don't have to pay for it. Here's a pair. What's your size? Go wear it. You know, 2 weeks later, oh, these things are amazing and they're comfortable, and they're like, cool. It's like, I don't try to force them to buy another pair. It's like, because that person now will go, when somebody looks at those shoes, they'll go, hey, what are those? Oh, no, these are barefoot shoes. Oh, why are you wearing them? And then that's the way to get it out, is by not forcing people to buy into our theory of why they are good. I think when you force people or try and push people, they tend to back off. So yeah,
Hmm.
lots of ways, but it's difficult. It's difficult because not a fashion, it's not a Nike or a Adidas that they know about either, and they can see it's all over the place. So, but they can't come into our space either, which is great.
Yeah, sure. No, and I really do uh, understand now the importance of proper footwear in my day-to-day life. I think it's one of those profounding effects in my life, my 30 years, that I've felt like this has been a defining moment of my career, and that's why I started this podcast, because I found the profound effect on just simply doing 30-minute walks between my lunch break. I mean, on my lunch break, just wearing barefoot shoes, and how that made impact for a year, just walking 30 minutes all. So I think that's why I'm so passionate about this and sharing it and hearing from your perspective, from other brands of, this tool, the shoes, but also like the foot and how that affected my foot and going up the chain to, like, say, my knees, my calves, my shins, everything. Like, it was just lower extremity that I used to have from past injuries that I think has helped me to understand more the importance of the foot. And so that's why I'm a huge proponent of foot health, barefoot shoes, and of course the fascia work that I do. So I just thank you for creating this space, and of course making Bashers Footwear, because I think it's important to have more brands to share their story and of course showcase the shoes. Voden. At the end, I always invite my guests to share where the audience, followers, can learn more about what you guys are doing, where they can purchase the shoes, and of course to contact and interact with you. So if you want to share social media, so Instagram or Facebook, an email, and then of course a website that they can, of course, correspond and interact. I've never stepped in a factory before. No, sure, let's do it. Yes, no, thank you. Once again, thank you for being on the podcast and showing me that. I think that was wonderful to see the construction of a shoe. No, that's my first time I've ever seen. So, man, awesome. Well, hey, thanks, Voden, for hopping on. Appreciate it.